Good evening, everyone. This is Michael O'Malley here with the Severe Weather Outlook and Discussion, the second one of the day for Friday, March 27th, 2020, occurred around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We do have a large, expansive, slight risk area from near Topeka, Kansas, all the way through Indianapolis, Indiana today, with a higher concentrated tornado threat that has been last updated since the last time we had an update, expanded just in width a little bit in length, from just south of Kansas City, Missouri, to just north of the Springfield, Missouri region. And this will be focused mainly tonight as an event of severe weather. Will get going later during this evening and tonight, most likely after sunset, with a couple isolated supercells possibly when these storms first go up here in Kansas and just nearing Missouri. Taking a look here at the high resolution HER model, this is the 18Z run. So just from about roughly 2 o'clock this afternoon, we do have this large expansive area of moisture plume that is streaming up towards the north. We have a sort of semi-pseudo low pressure system right here with an extended warm front, sort of like that, and somewhat of an evident dry line like feature extending out here. Also with a semi-pseudo cold front that is extending something like this. That wants to push south but is going to get stopped in its tracks during the overnight hours. But right near this kind of triple point region right here between this outflow, or not the outflow, but the dry line, and the low pressure and the sort of warm front region will be the best focus for severe weather going on through the night tonight, the best threat for tornadoes in through that region right there with the warm front region. The reason for this is because that warm front is going to enhance that low-level vorticity and be a source for amplification of stretching of the low-level mesocyclones, if there is any. So that will certainly be something to kind of keep in mind. But we'll scoot this over to about 23Z right before. Actually, we'll scoot this just to 0Z. And you do notice that we do have that warm front lifting further up to the north here into central Illinois. Pretty much in through most of central Missouri and extending in through portions of southeastern Kansas there. You do notice also here in Oklahoma that warm frontal position in the dry line does begin to kind of retreat further back towards the west. And if we kind of scoot towards 6Z tomorrow, you notice that we do lose some of that moisture, but for the most part that moisture axis is still pretty well intact, and we begin to undergo cyclogenesis here across the Rockies and lower plains regions there. Taking a look at our reflectivity, again coming off of the 18Z HER, you do notice that we do have a couple of elevated storms right now. We'll kind of get to that here in just a minute. Scoot that to about 0Z. Notice very little in the way of initiation, and we're going to attempt to kind of break down why that is. It's the forecast sounding just north of Oklahoma City, El Reno region, and you do notice that there's really not much of a cap at this time. We do have a pretty well established warm sector, actually cape rooted at the surface all the way up through into the triple pause, and a little bit of an elevated mixed layer that would work well with any heating and mixing. But one of the big problems is we do not have a lot of shear. That shear vector, these photographs are not very enlarged at all. Storm vectors, though, will be moving about 55 to near 60 miles an hour. So these storms will be racing off towards the northeast there at about 55 to 60 miles an hour. So fast storm motions during the day today will provide for, and in the overnight will provide for poor storm chasing opportunities, really. But you do notice storms begin to semi-initiate here throughout the night, and that could kind of serve as a purpose for developing supercells. But you do notice most of the convection gets going during the day tomorrow across portions of Illinois. I'm going to switch this over to the 19Z HER just to really see if we get any initiation off of Kansas and Missouri. And yeah, it doesn't really seem like it. So there could be a pretty stout cap across this area, pretty stout cap preventing a lot of that. But regardless, the Storm Prediction Center is going with that 5% tornado region. And during the day then tomorrow, we're going to shift our focus off towards Illinois and Iowa. There's a significant risk for tornadoes, a moderate risk 15 hatched region across portions of extreme eastern Iowa in through portions of Illinois tomorrow. I did get a question earlier regarding the exact time, or not the exact time, but the exact extent of this threat. For portions out here across portions of Ohio and even into Wisconsin, the timing and the dynamics will just not be in the favor of that. The warm frontal positions during the day tomorrow should continue to lift off towards the north, and by tomorrow evening should be in through southern Wisconsin. However, the exact extent of where that warm front ends up is going to play significantly into the severe weather threat tomorrow. There's also the potential for extensive cloud cover across this region tomorrow, which may hamper and dampen some of the tornado potential during the day tomorrow. Regardless, there is a moderate risk out. This could be a dangerous severe weather outbreak across portions of Iowa, extreme southeastern Iowa, and through portions of Illinois tomorrow. And even that risk extends into the overnight hours into northern Indiana, with a 10% risk extending pretty much in through portions of northwestern Indiana, with that 5 tornado potential, even including Cincinnati, Ohio, Indianapolis, Dayton, even through Dearborn, Ripley, Switzerland counties across there in southeastern Indiana. So certainly could see a tornado potential evolve tomorrow and tomorrow night. Of course, the highest tornado potential is going to be across extreme southeastern Iowa and through portions of Illinois during the day tomorrow. We also do have a couple of elevated storms ongoing right now. This is coming out of the Springfield, Missouri radar site. You do notice that we do have a couple of elevated supercells right now that are trying to establish themselves in this warm sector environment. So already the HRRR has not really been well established right now. But you do notice these isolated little supercells, even one strong supercell right there that produced a couple of large hail reports in the Oklahoma City region. And those will continue, or not in the Oklahoma City region, in the Tulsa City region. Those will continue to head up towards the northeast, towards Springfield, and you can already tell these storms are racing right now at about 40 to 50 knots, so closing in on about 60 to 65 miles an hour there. Do notice that these storms will impact portions of Springfield potentially, and there's one cell that could impact Springfield. Looking at the storm relative, not really a lot going on here. A lot of these storms are elevated. Let's change that to a better color. A lot of these storms are elevated and not worth really the tornado potential. However, some of them could produce some pretty large hail. Actually, we'll go to the maximum expected hail size, and you do notice that a lot of these are producing significant hail signatures, and a couple nearing the Springfield metropolitan region. So a lot to kind of keep on tabs. I will have another video update out for you all tomorrow morning. Hope you all stay safe and be prepared for the severe weather.